In the late 2000s, Volkswagen sold the American public a promise. They claimed to have engineered a high-performance diesel engine that was completely eco-friendly, offering excellent mileage with practically zero toxic emissions. But there was no miracle engine. Under the hood of millions of these cars lay a highly sophisticated, deeply hidden software hack designed to cheat environmental tests. When the deception finally collapsed, it cost the automaker over $30 billion in fines, settlements, and recalled vehicles. While the company bled cash, the real damage was happening on the streets. For years, these specific vehicles bypassed environmental protections, pumping thousands of tons of smog-forming nitrogen oxides into the air people breathed every day. This calculated engineering crime destroyed the market for passenger diesel cars in the United States and forced the auto industry to pivot sharply toward electric vehicles. By 2006, executives at Volkswagen headquarters in Wolfsburg set an aggressive target: surpass Toyota and General Motors to become the largest car manufacturer on Earth by 2018. To reach that goal, they needed to conquer the US market. The primary obstacle was Toyota, whose hybrid vehicles had captured the American buyer. Volkswagen responded with a massive marketing campaign for their TDI clean diesel line. They positioned it as a superior alternative to hybrids, offering the dynamic torque and speed of European engineering with a similarly green footprint. The marketing glossed over an unyielding problem of thermodynamics. Diesel engines achieve high fuel efficiency by running lean, with excess air, which creates extremely high combustion temperatures. That intense heat fuses atmospheric nitrogen and oxygen together, producing toxic nitrogen oxides, or NOx. To neutralize this NOx and meet strict U.S. environmental laws, engineers typically install bulky urea injection tanks or exhaust traps. But running those systems constantly on small passenger cars like the Jetta would ruin fuel economy and kill the vehicle's driving performance. Volkswagen's leadership demanded market dominance, strict environmental compliance, and high performance all at once. Since the loss of physics made that impossible, the engineering team decided to cheat. The method they used wasn't a physical mechanical switch. It was a block of software code embedded directly within the engine control unit, the computer that regulates the vehicle's fuel injection and exhaust systems. In the United States, regulators test a vehicle's emissions by placing it on a chassis dynamometer, essentially a treadmill for cars. The test follows a rigid second-by-second driving script of exact speeds and braking patterns. This is the EPA Federal Test Procedure Chart, mapping out the precise speed a vehicle must maintain during laboratory emissions testing. Volkswagen engineers programmed a variable into their car's computers to detect this exact speed profile, labeled B acoustic condition. It cross-referenced the vehicle's speed against the duration of the drive, the barometric pressure, and even the perfectly straight position of the steering wheel. Once the computer confirmed all these inputs matched the lab environment, it engaged a specialized testing mode. The engine would run with full emissions controls active, passing the federal certification flawlessly. The moment the car's sensors realized the test was over and the vehicle was back on a real road, the software disabled the emissions controls, unleashing the engine's full power and freely polluting the air. The engineers kept this secret for years, until a small, underfunded research team at West Virginia University stepped in. The researchers had no reason to suspect foul play. They received a modest grant to test passenger diesels out on the open highway, hoping to prove to European regulators that these vehicles were running perfectly clean under strict American standards. Unable to find local diesels, the team flew to California, rented a 2012 Jetta and a 2013 Passat, and strapped heavy, laboratory-grade emission measurement systems into the trunks. They ran hoses to the tailpipes and embarked on a grueling 2,400-mile road trip, driving the cars up the Pacific coast from Los Angeles to Seattle through dense city traffic and steep highway climbs. As the trip progressed, the data made no sense. They pulled over, recalibrated the sensors, and checked for exhaust leaks, assuming the equipment was broken. The equipment was fine. They had captured hard evidence that out on the open road, the vaunted clean diesels were spewing nitrogen oxides at up to 40 times the legal limit. This chart highlights the findings the West Virginia University team published in May 2014. The discrepancy between the minuscule emissions inside the testing lab and the massive spikes out on the highway was undeniable. The publication caught the attention of the EPA and the California Air Resources Board, kicking off a tense 15-month standoff as regulators aggressively demanded answers from Volkswagen. Volkswagen executives doubled down. They blamed the high numbers on technical calibration glitches and even issued a voluntary recall to update the software, which accomplished virtually nothing. The facade held until August 2015 during a technical meeting with California regulators. Unable to maintain the deception any longer, a rogue Volkswagen engineer broke ranks and confessed that the vehicles contained an illegal defeat device. On September 18, 2015, the EPA publicly issued a notice of violation of the Clean Air Act, ending the standoff and dragging the corporate secret into the light. The immediate fallout wiped out more than a quarter of Volkswagen's global market cap in a matter of days. Martin Winterkorn quickly resigned in disgrace. Top engineers and executives who had spearheaded the clean diesel strategy were suspended, and several were later indicted by the Department of Justice on criminal fraud charges. The company agreed to plead guilty to criminal felony counts, ultimately paying over $30 billion in fines and launching a massive logistical effort to buy back 500,000 rigged vehicles from American consumers. As part of the settlement, Volkswagen was legally mandated to invest billions of dollars into zero-emission vehicle technology and infrastructure, completely abandoning their diesel ambitions in the United States. In their ruthless drive to dominate the market with a fraudulent engine, Volkswagen dismantled their own strategy and accelerated a massive shift toward electrification. Does corporate fraud on this scale warrant the complete dismantling of a company, or are hefty fines enough to keep the industry in check? Let us know what you think in the comments below, and subscribe to Archive World for more deep dives into history's biggest turning points.